A group of friends is having a fun party on the beach. They are having a great time. The girls are dancing in their swimsuits and enjoying various drinks, and the boys are inventing all kinds of contests. Two friends, Vance and Gilbert, find a large ball covered with something sticky and drag it closer to their friends. The fun continues. Drinks, jokes, and kisses. This party has it all. The next morning, Mitch and Kaylee wake up in the lifeguard booth. Jonah and Shanda fell asleep in the car. Vance and Ronnie are sleeping in the back seat. Gilbert sleeps in the trash can where his prankster friends put him. Marcia wakes up on a picnic table. Kaylee comes out of the lifeguard booth and notices a convertible with friends. Among them is Jonah, which is bad because he is her ex-boyfriend. Kaylee is surprised to see no other friends anywhere. Only their sleeping bags are left on the beach. Marcia wakes up and notices that her swimsuit top is missing. She is sure that her friend Heather has taken it. The girl suddenly feels sick. Meanwhile, Kaylee notices how the sand is sucking in a bird that has landed on the shore. She wants to warn Marcia not to come down from the table, but the girl puts her feet down anyway. She immediately starts to get sucked into the sand. She screams, but her friends are still hungover and don't realize what's happening. Only Vance rushes to her aid, but he is also sucked into the sand. The friends panic because they can't start the convertible to escape. Mitch finds a rope in a lifeguard booth and throws it to Vance, but the force of the sand is so great that it literally crushes the boy. Soon, the sand completely absorbs both him and Marcia. Ronnie comes to and sees that Marcia, who was Vance's girlfriend, has disappeared. It's clearly not just quicksand, it's something much worse. The friends try to call the rescue service, but all their phones are in the trunk of the car. They put them there themselves in the evening to avoid taking compromising photos and videos at the party. Jonah tries to start the convertible again, but it looks like the battery is dead. Kaylee reaches into the sand and sees some magnetic threads stretching out of it, like tiny hairs. Meanwhile, Gilbert wakes up in the trash can. He realizes that he is stuck and cannot get out. His friends beg him not to move, so that he and the bin don't fall into the sand. Gilbert doesn't really believe in this story, thinking it's just another prank. However, he cannot get out on his own, and, as you can imagine, no one is in a hurry to help him. Many hours pass. Ronnie writes something in his diary, Jonah and Shanda take a nap, and Gilbert gets sunstroke. Kaylee asks Mitch what happened last night, and why they could walk in the sand yesterday, but not today. She throws a tube of sunscreen to her friends and asks the same question again. What changed overnight? The friends finally realize that all the teenagers who are not on the beach now have fallen victim to this hellish sand. Absolutely all of them. They are the only ones left alive. Jonah throws Gilbert a tube of sunscreen. Gilbert notices on the shore the remnants of the sticky layer that he and Vance dragged here last night. The friends realize that this layer was actually an egg, and a real monster hatched from it during the night. It seems that it hid in the sand, and now feeds on everything that enters its territory. This monster has already eaten Vance, Heather, Marcia, and a bunch of other teenagers. Kaylee finds hot dogs in the lifeguard booth and scatters them in different parts of the beach to determine the size of this dangerous creature. The monster eats the first two sausages, and then a bird that decides to land on the beach near Gilbert. Mitch throws the third sausage, but it remains on the sand. This means that the monster cannot get to this place. The boys have hope for rescue. However, the distance to the sausage is quite long. Jonah takes two surfboards and uses them as a bridge to get to the picnic table. At the same time, he also has time to fight with Kaylee because he is jealous of his ex-girlfriend for Mitch. Jonah makes it to the table, but the surfboard slides under his feet, causing him to lean too close to the sand. The unknown monster seems to be moving the board on purpose. Magnetic tentacles stretch out of the sand and wound his stomach. He jumps onto a table and feels so weak that he faints. When he comes to, he screams in pain. It's like a jellyfish sting, but 1,000 times more painful. Obviously, the monster under the sand is very poisonous. Jonah finds someone's bag on the sand, and a banana falls out. However, the monster does not touch it. He sees that the fruit has fallen on the ashes of a fire. Jonah jumps into the center, and nothing bad happens to him. This means that the unknown creature is afraid of fire. Unfortunately, his wound on his stomach looks very terrible. The cuts are starting to fester. Kaylee orders Jonah to go back to the table and look in the bag of things. There's a soda can for Ronnie and Shanda, a bottle for Gilbert, and a bottle for Kaylee and Mitch. Jonah is getting worse. Tentacles are coming out of his stomach. Despite the hellish pain, he climbs onto the picnic table and lies down on it. The boys see the surfboards moving across the sand. Now Jonah can't get back to the car. However, even inside the car is not very safe, because the sand monster is slowly eating away at the tires. Gilbert says they need to get their cell phones out of the trunk. Ronnie tries to lower the back seat of the car to open the trunk directly from the cabin. Unfortunately, this method does not work. Then the girl holds Shanda tightly on the edge of the car. After a few attempts, it becomes clear that they won't be able to open the trunk wide. They need another way. Kaylee finds a rescue hook on the tower and throws it to Ronnie. She doesn't have time to get her phones out because the trunk lid slams shut and crushes her fingers. A police patrol appears on the beach. The teenagers warn the officer about the danger, but of course he doesn't believe them. The officer thinks that the boys have taken illegal substances and are now suffering from massive hallucinations. The policeman calmly gets out of the car, and nothing bad happens to him. The cop mocks the boys, especially Gilbert, who is still sitting in the trash can. Our heroes realize that the officer is protected by boots with very thick soles. The cop demands that Kaylee and Mitch come down from the rescue tower, but they categorically refuse to do so. The cop accidentally drops his keys on the sand and reaches out to pick them up. At this point, the sand catches his hand. The man uses pepper spray to help him, but he still loses his right arm and falls to the sand in shock. Of course, he also falls victim to the sand monster. Kaylee manages to take the pepper spray away from the cop. Mitch has a new plan. He wants to put on his shoes, wrap his feet in towels, spray them with pepper spray, and run to the police car to pick everyone up and get out of here. Chanda throws him a couple of towels from the car. The boy successfully catches the first towel, but when he reaches for the second, the railing of the rescue tower breaks, and he falls to the sand. He is immediately attacked by a sand monster. Unfortunately, none of his friends can help him. They can only watch as Mitch spends the last seconds of his life. Only a red spot remains on the sand. Kaylee is desperate, but she doesn't want to give up. She forces Chanda to move away from the rescue tower and climb on the hood, and then jumps into the convertible and slaps Chanda for spending the night with her boyfriend. Kaylee sees that Jonah is still alive, and they even confess their love for each other. Kaylee and Chanda work together to free Ronnie's fingers from under the trunk lid. Ronnie is in a lot of pain, but at least now she is not trapped. The girls bandage her wound. Gilbert notices that he cut his stomach on the sharp edge of the trash can when he tried to get out. As drops of his blood fall to the sand, the monster learns that his prey is hiding here. Chanda takes the fragments of the railing and uses them as a bridge to get to the wounded Jonah, who is lying on the picnic table. Kaylee follows her. Ronnie is the last to go, but almost at the finish line, she stumbles and falls to the sand. Kaylee uses pepper spray, but it doesn't help. Ronnie gets sucked in by the sand monster. Chanda remembers Mitch's plan. She wraps towels around her legs, pours pepper spray on them, and runs to the police car. She succeeds, jumps on the hood, and screams with joy. But in a few seconds, Gilbert is attacked by the sand monster, a monstrous creature that literally sucks him through the bottom of the trash can. The monster grows long tentacles and hits the police car with them. Chanda falls on the hood and loses consciousness. Morning comes. Chanda comes to, gets to the back of the police car and finds her salvation there. She inflates it, jumps in, and helps Kaylee and Jonah get to the police car. Suddenly, a huge tentacle emerges from the sand and attacks Kaylee. The girl climbs on the hood of the car and finds 2 cans of gasoline. She sets fire to the tentacle of the monster, and our heroes are locked in the car, watching the monstrous creature try to get them. Eventually, the sand monster retreats. Kaylee and Chanda see that Jonah has not been able to survive the severe injury. The girls cry bitterly and then fall asleep from exhaustion. In the morning, a man knocks on their car window and asks if they are okay. Kaylee and Chanda see that the monster has disappeared. They can walk in the sand again. But where is the creature now? Meanwhile, they see what looks like a huge jellyfish in the water. It is heading toward another beach full of people.